Do I know how it's going to work? No, I don't. I don't 100% know how it's going to work, but I know it will. Every deal I've done, I'm scared. I'm scared it's going to mess up. Every single one, every time. I look at the worst case scenario. Can I survive that? Yes. Go.
All right, welcome to the conversation on Fortunes of the Brave, my friends. Mary Kathryn Johnson here, CXO of Planet Wealth, and I get to have a conversation. We've been chatting offline already, so I already know this is going to be a lot of fun. So Dr. Felecia Froe is a board-certified urological surgeon turned social impact investor. She's also a founder, author, and educator. Dr. Felecia, if I can call you, welcome to the conversation. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. And I tell people only when I'm in the office am I Dr. Froe. Otherwise, it's Felecia. So, and I get, some of the folk that work for me call me Dr. Felecia. I was like, okay, as long as Felicia's in there somewhere, and I don't have to feel like I am the doctor.
It's all this formal stuff, it sets you apart, doesn't it?
So yes, all of those things. I've been a urologist for over 30 years. It's like I finished my residency in 93. I did the typical, my parents we were in the South. My dad is a veterinarian. My mom, ultimately got her master's degree. So very educated parents. And their whole thing was, yeah, you go to school. I told my dad one day I wanted to be a veterinarian. He goes, nah, if you're going to school that long, you're going to be a doctor. And okay, so that's what happened. Became a urologist. Been doing that. And it was interestingly about 5 years in, a voice said to me, this isn't the last thing you're ever going to do, which was kind of scary because there's student loans. I've worked all this time to get to this place and now this isn't it. But what is it? There was no answer to that. It's like, you'll figure that out. Okay. So time went on. And probably at some point, I don't remember exactly when, 2004, 2005, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. A friend of mine gave it to me, and that just opened my eyes about money. It's so interesting to me how little I actually knew about money, and like, this is a completely different way to think about it. Mm-hmm. And from there, started investing in real estate after one of my patients challenged me. She went with me to see a house, and she was already a real estate investor, and she looked at it with me, and she goes, like, if you don't buy it, I'm going to buy it.
Challenge accepted.
And she made it sweeter. If you buy it and it doesn't work, I'll buy it from you.
Wow.
So it took all the risk out of it. I just like, okay, here we go. And we bought 18 properties in the next 2 years.
Wow.
2004, 2005, 2006. It was probably 2005 to 2007. And then does anybody remember 2008?
Yeah, there was something that happened. I think
some nastiness.
Yeah.
And it was very nasty for us. Very, very nasty. We realized what we did not know and lost everything. And just life got real, real ugly for it seems like it didn't now. It doesn't sound like it was that long, but I'm sure at that point it seemed like it was going forever. I was working in Hawaii at the time, actually. And because of all the stuff that happens, like I don't make enough money out here, even as a physician, to live here. So I moved to California and started, I knew real estate investing was a ticket for me. There was something I didn't know. So it was at that time I got mentors. It was that time I started understanding, it's like, okay, I need somebody who can see something that I can't see. So did all of that and was investing in apartments and just kind of general real estate investing. And that wasn't filling me. I was like, something's missing here. This is kind of like medicine, to be perfectly honest. I can do it and I can be good at it, but it's not the thing. Then I met some social impact investors, they call themselves, Josh and Lisa Lannon, who were doing, I can't remember what they were working on at the time, but they were working toward veterans' homes and that kind of thing. It's like, these are investments that bring financial returns to the investor plus help people. Then the voice said, that's
it. Yep.
That's it. And so then built us a residential assisted living home, which it felt really good. It was harder than, oh my gosh, it was so hard. Lessons learned.
And regulations and hiring the right people. And oh my goodness, yes.
People are such a thing in investing, such a thing. And so that I mean, it did fine. It ultimately sold it and nobody lost money except me, but nobody lost money. I made sure all investors got their money back. And then, grocery stores and food deserts. So all these kinds of things. And right now our main thing is, homes for sober living. And that's what we're working on now. So I gave you a lot, that's my whole story. So,
oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You are speaking my language. All of those things. It's really amazing. Here at Planet Wealth, we help real estate investors, raise capital using, the Jobs Act and specifically regulation crowdfunding. And one of the number one criteria we ask people when they come into our process, whether they come to a master class where I'm introducing them to the concept of the Jobs Act and actually raising capital this way, because 99.9% of people have no clue they can even do this.
right.
None. And we're talking real estate investors. I'm talking real estate investors who've done, $39 million apartment complexes. And they've gone out and got private investors and all that. They have no clue that you can actually raise capital using regulation crowdfunding or Reg CF, the community, blah, blah, blah. We can talk about that if we need to. But the key is it's not just to make money and have residual income or, monthly recurring revenue. There's got to be a purpose behind it, because people invest in a purpose, a reason. They don't just invest to make money.
I agree.
So you talked about it. Sober living is a huge thing right now. That I've heard that term quite a few times. It doesn't just mean people who are trying to, handle their alcoholism. It could be people who just don't want any kind of substances in their area where they live. And people who want to help veterans, people who want to help the elderly, people who want to help children aging out of the care system, to have a safe place to transition into adulthood. There are many people who are trying to revitalize, especially this one, revitalize downtown communities in large cities that have been devastated over COVID and so many reasons. So, I mean, I love what you're talking about. I love that you're taking that, even though the difficulties of 2007, 2008 happened, you didn't give up. What was that? I really want to know that, because this is, I believe mindset is a very strong, it's not everything, but it's part of everything.
That's a great question. And all I can say is it just felt like this was the avenue for me. It's like, yes, it was messed up. This is bad. And and I guess I looked at it that you've messed up before and you came back. And so, I still am a doctor. I still am a physician. I make money. And like, yes, I was making fine money. But remember, I also knew that I wasn't going to be doing this for the rest of this was not my thing. I'm going to tell another story I had. So that was me stuck in medicine, not being fulfilled because I didn't have another way out. And then my mom had been in domestic violence relationship where she had to stay for a financial reason. So these things were in my tissue. They were in me, of things that women get stuck. We get stuck in places for a lot of times financial reasons, a lot of mindset things, but a lot of financial reasons. I want finances not to be the reason that you're stuck. It should not be. So my company, Money with Mission and Wealth Be Hers, that's what we're doing. And honestly, to get out of, or to make me keep going in real estate after losing everything, I got divorced. It was an ugly time. It really was bad. I got lawsuits. It was, what the heck? I don't know. I just felt like, okay, I can do this. This can happen. This is the right thing to do. And the right people just kept coming. They really did. It's like, this is what I'm going to do. And I kept finding one person after another that could help me. That when I was getting sued, somebody called one of my friends, like, what? I don't know what to do with this. Oh, here, call this person. They'll help you. And then like you end up settling, like they're telling you you're going to pay, $100 million, some crazy amount of money that there's no way in your life you're ever going to figure out how to pay. And you said, talk to a lawyer. I was like, no, that's not going to happen. Here's what you're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. And those things they just all kind of dropped off one by one by one. And as I kept stepping forward, again, not really knowing where I was going to end up. But when I look back at the things that I've done and how I've gotten to where I am, it's like, I've always been on this very path to the social capitalism, to doing things that help, to changing communities, to helping women be able to invest in things. And the crowdfunding, the Regulation CF thing is not new. I knew it was there. I just didn't know how to use it. But to be able to help women who don't have $100,000 or $50,000 to invest in an apartment complex, invest in something that can now bring them some money. And that whole thing where your money's working for you, that's an amazing thing. The first time I could tell an administrator who came down and was talking to me about, I don't even know what she was trying to say, but it felt like she was trying to say, I don't know if we need you anymore. And she wasn't being that direct. And I just said, okay, look, if you don't need me, just tell me and I will pack up and go. Being able to say that's an amazing thing. When I said it, it was like, oh God, that felt really good.
I walk a little different after that one.
It was really good.
What you just said about that confidence and power to feel empowered that you're not stuck. I can tell that obviously comes from a personal experience like you shared with your mother. I know, unfortunately, most women have been in a situation where they may not feel as confident as that. Yeah. So to be able to, let me take it back though. So you had a job, a good paying job as a physician, and you could take that extra money and use it as either down payments or save it up to, or once you had one property, then use the equity in that one. And is that kind of the traditional method that you used to start building those investment properties?
Well, back in the mid 2005, 2006 time, you could get a loan just because you said
for anything.
Yeah. So we got
because you were breathing.
We got a lot of loans, and we didn't have a lot of capital, which was our downfall. That's what happened. And we didn't really the plan was that we were going to buy all these properties and hold them long term so I could not have to practice anymore. But it still seemed like the right thing. Like I had read pretty much all of Robert Kiyosaki's books, the whole Rich Dad series. And just like this, I was like in the cult. It's kind of like this makes so much sense to me. And it just, I don't know. I guess maybe sticking, it's hard to, I don't know. When I'm thinking about all the different things I've changed, like I went to college to go to medical school, decided I don't want to go to medical school. I'm going to go to pharmacy school against the wishes of my parents, against everybody said, no, you should stick in there. And I was like, no, I'm going to do this. And then decided I don't want to go to pharmacy school. I'm going to go to medical school. And dad said, no, you should finish pharmacy school because all the reasons. And I was like, no, I'm going to quit pharmacy school and I'm going to go to medical school. And I got in and got accepted right away. And then you'll never make it in urology. There's no way you can ever do that. I was like, well, I'm going to do it anyway. And I got accepted at the first place. All the things that you get told aren't, honestly, I need somebody to tell me you can't do it for me to do it. That's the bottom line. I think that's the bottom.
A little stubborn I hear in there. Yeah, that's another reason we get along so well.
Please don't tell me I can't do something because it's done.
Well, and especially I don't want people to say that to me as a reverse psychology kind of thing. It's like, that's a control issue too. But anyway, I won't go that way. But anyway, but what you're talking about though is you took the path that was somewhat safe, right? I mean, you become a physician, you should have a pretty much guaranteed job somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're taking that safe path and you're choosing the potential for freedom over it. Tell me about why you made that choice.
That's a tough one because, people go into medicine and you think that's where I'm going to be. That's my identity. That's who I am. I'm a doctor. I'm going to be there until I die or I retire and da-da-da-da. And I can tell you that when I would say to other physicians, I think I'm going to do something else, isn't it? I remember this so well. A guy goes, what else can you do? You went to medical school. I mean, you're just going to be a doctor. And when he first said it to me, it really sunk in, like, well, what am I thinking about? I went to medical school. And then I don't know what happened, but it came to me. It's like, I went to medical school.
Yeah, hello. That's not an easy thing. Yeah, I got all the way up to the MCATs. And I stopped there.
I went to medical school. I went to a urology residency, which at the time, I was one of the first 100 female urologists in the country. So it's not like I hadn't done hard things. I don't think about, when you're doing it, you don't think about it as a hard thing. You're just doing a thing. And then, I don't know, I just like, okay, the first thing I really did is stop telling people who I didn't think would support me what I wanted to do. Because I beat myself up enough and talk myself. I got my own negative nilly itch. I got it. And I don't need somebody else talking to me that way. Even to my parents. It came down to you just tell them a little bit and and I think we often don't find our group of people that support us and keep the people that are scared for us. And that's what you have to realize. They are afraid for you and you'll fail and then you'll have this and then this. Like, okay, but what if I succeed? And so finding that group of people, and I've had several different ones along the way who were just there to support. When I'm thinking, what the heck am I doing? This is called a friend of mine. She's like, okay, let me tell you what just knowing you and working with you has done for me. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'm not useless and worthless on the planet. I've gotten a couple things done in my life.
Yeah, nobody can talk to us the way we talk to ourselves. We would not accept it. And we would not accept it if a friend of ours said they talk to themselves the way we talk to ourselves. We would talk them out of it. Say, are you crazy? Look at and point out all those things. So even if you just say that to yourself, look at all the things you've done, but we have to get to that point where we can say it. This is okay. Everybody listening to our voices, this is normal human behavior. Okay. This is not abnormal. This is part of life. All of us. Very few people that I know, I don't know any, sorry, I'm going to amend that statement. I don't know anyone who doesn't, doubt in some way. So, but you still did that. And especially now we come into the social impact. Oh my goodness. Not like you're not helping people already as a urologist. I mean, come on. You're not a ditch digger that's just digging a ditch. You're obviously helping people. I know I've been to them. So, but now you're taking the next step and you're looking at, not just helping the person sitting in front of you, but having an opportunity for women specifically, or anyone, to be able to do what? What is your main purpose in wanting to educate and support and help women change their lives in this way? What are you working on?
In a nutshell, is every woman, Money with Mission, we believe every woman should have the financial ability to walk away from any job or relationship that's not in her best interest. And sometimes running the wheel or working the job that you have, even if you love it, is not enough to let that happen. And there could come a time, first of all, we get told you go to school, you get a job, and then you work there until you retire. And nobody talks about all the life in between that lets you have to work less. Even though we hear about how women make less money because you have to take time off because you have babies and you do this, we don't necessarily have to have less. If we invest and we have money working for us instead of what everybody else tells you is that you got to go to work to make money and then you can buy stuff. And most of the time the stuff you buy or told to buy are things that help people see your wealth and not necessarily the things that are working for you to build your own wealth. And that's a really complicated thought. Just know that's not necessarily straightforward. We buy a lot of things that aren't doing anything for us except building us up. When you send your money out to work for you, the thing it's supposed to do is come back with more money. And that's that's the thought I have when I start working with women. It's like, okay, I can't be the only one that didn't want to do this my whole life. I can't be the only one who thought about quitting when they had their baby. I can't be the only one who, all the stuff. My mom's not the only woman who stayed in a relationship that was not good for her. There's women out there staying in jobs with guys or with people who are disrespectful to them, who treat them and demean them and have you walking out of the place feeling bad about yourself. But if you knew you didn't have to, if you knew that you had money working for you, even if you didn't have enough, you knew you could. It's like you could give him the finger and say, I'm out.
Finger. Yes. I just do it. Say it.
I'm out. We're
not showing it. We're just saying it.
Do I know how it's going to work? No, I don't. I don't 100% know how it's going to work. but I know it will. And that's one of the things. The fear of all that stuff never goes away.
That's right. Do it anyway.
Every deal I've done, I'm scared. I'm scared it's going to mess up. Every single one, every time.
So how do you make yourself do it anyway?
I look at the worst case scenario. Can I survive that? Yes. Go.
You know, I used to I live in a small town, and I used to work as a volunteer ambulance driver in the volunteer fire department. And so I would drive the ambulance. I had a, advanced first aid certificate and, driving the ambulance kind of certificate. And I've seen people die. That's my worst case scenario. Is anybody dying if I spend this money? No.
If I lose this money, is
anybody going to die? No. So to me, that's the worst case scenario. So if I can come back from that and go through scenarios that, might feel bad, and oh my gosh, people are going to look at me bad. They're going to think I'm a failure. All those thoughts come up. It's like, well, the people I really care about, the people whose opinions matter to me, will never look at me as a failure. Never. They would never see me as that. So if strangers on the street do, what does that matter? How does that affect my life?
Does not.
It doesn't.
Does not. If you let it, it keeps you from going forward. But the people that really, they can see that the thing you did failed, but not that you're a failure.
That's right. That's right. It's an action. So that's my question to you, because I've heard a couple of times, especially female investors. There's a thought that I've run into a couple of times that female investors or female entrepreneurs don't have as much, and I'm reading this from other people, not believing it myself, don't really have as broad a network as other people, or don't have as much time because they raise families as other people to build networks and build all these connections. How do you help women overcome those stereotypes, those ideas that they just don't have enough? They just don't have as much. Because I don't believe that. Personally, we have way bigger networks than any man because we are social, much more social to me anyway. But from a financial standpoint, right? That's kind of the way it's thought of.
I think the way I always look at it is that women are afraid to lose money. Like, I can't lose the money. And one person I interviewed said, it's not about people being afraid of losing money. They're afraid of losing the time that it took to make the money. It's like, oh, okay. That's a way to look at it too. And I go through the same thing I go with myself. What's the worst thing that can happen? What's the worst thing that can happen? You lose money. How much money can you afford to lose and not really think about it?
Yeah.
How much? Just pick a number. Okay. Make that your number then. And that's where the crowdfunding comes in, because you can put in a little bit. I've been in things where you have to put in 100,000, 50,000. And have I lost it? Yes, I have. And does it hurt? It sure does. And you keep going. You're like, okay, well, all right, let me figure out how to do this again and keep going. I don't know. Is there a risk? Absolutely. And I have had women coming and saying, well, I can invest in this because there's no risk. I'm like, hold on a second. There's always a risk, and you have to be prepared to lose the money. That's the bottom line. You have to be prepared to lose the money.
But I think what you're doing, which is so wonderful, is that you're helping women transition from that time-based value of money. Yeah. So like you just said, how much time did it take me to get that money? It's all relative to time. How much hourly rate am I charging? What is my hourly salary or my yearly salary? And we put that time value to it. But when you invest, like you're talking about, that time value goes away. That compounds itself beyond whatever time it took. You can still think of it that way. And if you really want to, you can think of it. I suggest you don't. I suggest you think of it as an investment in having your money work for you over time, rather than you having to work over time to make it. Right? That's a mindset shift that is difficult.
100%. And once you get there, it's kind of hard to understand why it's difficult. But you do have to remember that it's difficult. It's like, what do you mean? Money working for you? That seems like such an easy thing to like, of course it should work for me. I worked hard for it. Now it should go work for me. But that's not what we're taught. we're taught, and that's from very young, without even our parents realizing they're teaching us, or society realizing. Maybe society does realize they're teaching us, but that's what we're taught. You have to get a job, and that's how you make money. And then you buy stuff, because we're a big consumer, and you buy stuff that you can't afford right now, and you put it on your credit card, and you put it on your whatever, instead of getting your money, putting it into an investment, letting that investment pay you back. So now you can buy the stuff you want to have. And that investment's going to keep on paying you all the time. It's going to keep on, and you can keep on buying your stuff and having the stuff you want. So that's what the one thing about in the Rich Dad Poor Dad is: the rich don't work for money. They work for assets. So yes, you make your money, and then you buy an asset that's now going to feed you. So that's the basic thought for me. And then getting through that fear of losing it. One of my clients, an hour conversation about, she was about to go and buy, she was starting doing, buying notes, which is the paper of a property. So somebody hasn't paid their taxes, tax lien. Somebody hadn't paid their taxes. Now she's going to buy out their note, And we talked about it. It's like, what are you going to do with the property? All this conversation. And then I said, well, how much are you talking about investing? And it was like $2,500. And she's a physician. I said, Jessica, sorry, Jessica. Will your life change if you lose that money? Oh, no, not really. Then let's stop talking about it. Let's go do it. Just do it. And she did. And now she's been doing it for, 3-4 years. Every time the tax sale comes up, she goes back in and buys some more stuff. She calls me and says, I got another check. I sold that property. I did this. It's like, gosh, it makes me so happy. And to see how far she's come, and how now she's talking to other people about investing. She's got her family doing investing. She's like, the ripple effects of one person starting is just amazing. That's what I really like about your platform, is how it can get, everybody can be involved. Everybody can be involved.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that brings me to something I know you're strong about as well, is we're not just talking about turning a profit, right? Which of course is important to all investors. You don't want to lose money. Nobody does. So you definitely want to turn a profit, but you really want to actually turn communities around. Tell me more about that, because that's, I think, the big connection with everything we're talking about with sober living and, VA, veterans, or, anything like that. How are you turning communities around?
So the project that we've got going is the sober living homes in Arizona. We've gotten 2 of those. They're full, and they're paying. So we've given people who would either be back on the street or back in their same environment where they were using drugs, alcohol, whatever their substance was. And now they have a place where they can be, where that's not allowed. You can stay here as long as you're not using. Kind of the same as assisted living. So it's a house with people, a shared house, and people live there and pay their rent, and investors make money, and have people have a safe place to be. And it's men, women, there's different houses. The name of the organization is Oxford House, that we are working with. And they've been around for a long time, and they're in every state, as far as I know, every city, every state. And the people living in the house run the house. So that's what's going right now. What I have on the back burner that's coming forward is grocery stores. So we have a lot of food deserts in our country, a lot of places where people do not have food, easy access to good, healthy food. I lived in Tulsa, Oklahoma for 2 years, and I lived in a neighborhood in North Tulsa, and they had done a feasibility study, or I can't remember what it's called, a study that showed that the people of North Tulsa lived 11 years less than the people in the rest of the city. And while there's a lot of reasons for that, healthcare, lots of stuff, there was no grocery store where you could get fresh food. In the block up to my house, there were 15 fast food places. 15. We opened a grocery store, a full service grocery store there. We didn't use investor money with that one, but that concept is there. I'm working on it with a nonprofit now, where we're putting actually smaller New York bodega style grocery stores in neighborhoods. Fresh food, not, there's some candy, but we're working to teach people how to eat better. And if it's available, you find, guess what? People eat better when better is available. And we want to franchise that and actually have then ownership in the neighborhood. So it's just, I mean, this one is real to me. It's like, because food is everything.
Yes.
What we eat
It is
everything.
Yes.
And when you don't eat well, you are not well. I was with another organization where we worked with out of control diabetics and provided them provided them with fresh food, fresh fruits and vegetables, taught them how to cook them. And that program's been going on for now, I think 2 years, 3 years, fresh RX, food is medicine. And the year that I was with it, people lost a lot of weight. A1Cs came under control. It was just to know that it's food and eating well. So the organization I'm with now, RG Foods, is like a whole network working with farmers so that the food in the neighborhood or in the area is seasonal. So you're not necessarily eating cherries in December.
Right.
Where did those come from? And I live in Oklahoma, you guys, so cherries aren't in Oklahoma.
Right.
It's not happening.
No.
And getting nutrient dense food. So that's another thing. A lot of food we get in Oklahoma comes from California, Arizona.
Yes.
And they pick it early, and then as it's transported, the nutrients in it degrade. So that by the time you get it, it's not doing what you think it should be doing. So you're eating vegetables, but they're not giving you the nutrition. So you eat more, which then makes you overweight, which anyway,
everything.
Food is medicine. And that's really important to me. So those are the two social impact things I've got going on right now. Food and food deserts and sober living.
And, I just have to say that, the choices we make in life, I feel like you are taking your previous experience as a physician and you are innovating real estate investing from that perspective.
Yeah.
Because what's important to you comes from your education and how you see people can live more healthy. And so you're taking that even though you think you're leaving, urology behind, you're kind of not, right? In the sense that no matter what we do, we bring everything with us. And when we look at a new situation, we innovate it. That's innovation. Innovation to me is not the Elon Musks and the Steve Jobs of the world. It is all of us normal people who have previous experience that we bring to bear on the next thing we do. Yeah. Mm. And you are looking at real estate investing differently. Kudos to you. And kudos to you for bringing other people along with you.
That's actually key to me is I just don't want any woman to feel stuck. And if I can do anything to help you not feel stuck, that's what I'm here for. That's just take that step.
Yes. Well, I know this is not the last conversation we're going to have. I'm pretty sure about that one. Because there are too many things that I would love to find out more about, how you're doing and how I can help and all of that. But in the meantime, if there's one thing that you would like a first-time investor to know that would maybe make their lives a little easier and avoid some of the pitfalls that you might have encountered and had to overcome, what would it be?
My number one thing is know who you are investing with. And it's not about the product. It's not about the thing that they're doing. It's about the person you're investing with. So if you know that, I'm not against Wall Street, but I really don't like handing money off to whatever company and not knowing who's doing what, not knowing who they are. So I like to be able to call a person and find out what's going on. What's going on with this deal? Why does this make sense? How are your kids? How's life going? How's your job? Those conversations. So for me, it is knowing who you are investing with and being able to have a conversation with them about money. That's the number one thing.
Fantastic. Well, Felecia, thank you so much for spending this time with me. I really, it completely flew by. But I know that everyone listening, you'll be able to get in touch with Felecia. We'll have all of her social links and her information in the show notes. So please visit the show notes page on planetwealth.com and our podcast to be able to connect with Felecia and learn more about what she does and how she educates and how she might be able to help you not be stuck.
Yes.
Felecia, thank you for this time, for sharing your most valuable resource with me, which is time and attention. And I have very much enjoyed sharing my time and attention with you. And I hope you have a fantastic day.
Thank you, Mary. It's been very, very much fun. I love talking about this stuff. I forget how much I like talking about this stuff until I start talking about it.
Me too.
If today's conversation sparked your ambition, subscribe now and join a movement committed to bridging the wealth gap. Every episode delivers insights that can transform your financial destiny.